Hello fellow chatterers, good morning. I have just woken up after my day at the spa and I have finished. This is kind of an epic love story. I'm going to give you a little view of where we're staying, then I'm going to try and prop this up so it's easier to talk about this book. There we go. So, this is kind of an epic love story by Kacen Callender. Is a YA contemporary romance. So if you are someone that does not necessarily enjoy a lot of teenage angst or pop culture references, then this is probably not the book for you. But if those things are not something that you mind, then you may well enjoy reading this book. So Kacen Callender is most well, I can't really angle it in the right place. There we go. Kacen Callender is most well known for Felix Ever After. That's their most recent book. I can't remember when it was in relation to that they wrote this one. But I really enjoyed Felix Ever After and wanted to read more of their, back catalogue. Back catalogue is what I wanted to read. So this is the story of Nate, who lives with his mum. His dad died when he was 9, I think, or 6, I can't remember. Anyway, his dad died quite young. And Nate is 16, his older sister Becca is in Chicago at what US would call college, which UK would call uni. And Nate is really into movies. He really loves them. That's quite a lot of there's quite a lot of references throughout this and what he enjoys about them. It talks about his friendship group, and there's lots of then kind of different complications with different feelings within the friendship group. There's a lot of hormones flying around. There's a lot of, like I already said, angst. But underneath that, there is some really fantastic friendship moments. There's a lot of them working out life, teenage awkwardness, and being afraid is quite a key factor in there. So considering kind of what Nate's had to experience in his life, what he's seen around him, he's basically quite afraid he doesn't believe in happy endings. He thinks that's just for movies. He doesn't feel that that is reflective of life, and he's very kind of self-protective of him. So he has been hurt when we start reading this book. There's lots of kind of complications of like ex-love, still friends kind of situations going on in here, trying not to disappoint people but feel a bit uncomfortable. So there is a big theme on kind of being honest with yourself and being honest with other people around you, and how that is helpful to share your feelings. And it also explores taking a chance. I think is probably its big message. Like, you don't know if you don't try, and life is a risk, which I think are really lovely themes to explore. I did enjoy the characters a lot. I think I connected more quickly to Felix and friends, but I think that's a good thing because it's really nice to see the authors kind of improve on their writing. But I still really enjoyed my time with this book. I did get fond of the characters. There were some things that I just personally struggle with. I'm very much someone that I don't like complications. I like everything to kind of have its place. I'm a bit more of a keep things in its pigeonhole, to be separate. I like to have things organised, but that's like a personal preference for me. Not everyone is the same. So this is a bit messy, and so that was just kind of like my personal feelings to it, but the messiness is sorted out, and then I did feel more comfortable reading all about it. What I really love about this book is that there is a lot of queer representation, but it's not labelled. Like, it doesn't need to explain itself, it doesn't need to say anything. It's just very clear when they're talking about relationships, like, you know, there are bisexual characters, and they don't need to label it or discuss it. It's just like, they have feelings for girls, they have feelings for boys. None of the friends bat an eyelid about this. They're just generally excited about relationships regardless of who it's with, which I think is so refreshing. I just think it's like, if we lived in a world where everyone was accepting, where nothing was a big deal, where we didn't have like a set societal norm and we don't need to necessarily discuss stuff, it's like it would be like this. So I thought that was fantastic. I also really enjoyed that we have a character in here who is deaf. And again, it's not given a massive explanation. It's just like they had meningitis and lost their hearing. And then you realise, I had to flip back through the book and look at things, but it's like there were subtle things where it was like they met their interpreter for classes. There's moments when some of the characters are signing. There's moments when there's lip reading, and they do a lot of, they type on their phones and then show it to the character who is deaf. And again, it's just really organic. Oh, something is making a noise up there, so apologies if that's affecting the sound. It's quite noisy. Yeah, so that happened just really naturally in here. And then as the story progressed, there's lots of different emotions and feelings that are explored. There is also the family dynamic that's explored in here. There's kind of that teenage trying to feel more independent and kind of fighting against being treated like a child, understanding what your parents are going through. So Nate's family dynamic, it chafes at him slightly, but there's such a family-like feeling of love. And again, it's that whole being honest and open and talking and accepting when you've done wrong and apologising for it. Noisy cars. Okay. And apologising for it is also a big theme in here as well. And what's really lovely is that all of that is explored and all of that is dealt with. So you've also, as well as having kind of the romantic relationships explored, you've got friendship relationships that are explored and family relationships that are explored as well. So I really enjoyed all of that too. And yes, at the end, I did get a little bit tearful. I did feel very much invested in the relationship. I did like the framing, that obviously you've got the theme of films and happy endings, and how that kind of plays out in more of a kind of normal everyday life. But there's little asides like, well, it's really cliche, but I just want it to be raining right now because that would suit my mood. You know, if this was a movie, it would be raining. So little things like that I really appreciated. So yes, so if you enjoy books about relationships, books about emotions, and you're fine with a bit of teenage angst, you're fine with pop culture references, I highly recommend this book. So I had a great time. This is really nice reading sort of on a spa. It wasn't particularly heavy at any point. It was really nice light relief. Although yes, there's some heartache, there's some stupid decisions, there's a bit of miscommunication, but it's done in a way where it feels very natural because these characters are very messy, they're teenagers, it feels very realistic and nothing is left kind of overhanging. Friendships, they kind of call each other out on their behaviour, like that's not really acceptable, you should probably sort that out and apologise. Which is really lovely to see. Like, the friends do care about each other. They're not afraid to tell their friends when they're being shitty. So I think all of that is really good. So yeah, I had a great time with this. I'm having a wonderful time at the spa. It was so relaxing. I did get to read this sort of like outside. I've done a little short like clip of me reading, just very tiny. I'll probably just put that up as like a little fun short. I had a wonderful relaxing massage. The food has been amazing. Our room is quite epic as well, which has been lots of fun. It's been so nice hanging out with all my girls. It's been really lovely. So yeah, I'm going to be reading a different book on the train. I do have Northanger Abbey to read as well because I need to sort out my TBR and get that done so I don't have a punishment. Kind of wish I'd brought Words of Radiance with me so I could be tackling that, but that is not really a book to read on the train or packing your suitcase. But hopefully I'll get Northanger Abbey read and then I can finish Words of Radiance when I get home. But anyway, this has been so delightful, and thank you to Laurie and to Scoop for suggesting this one for me. And if I finish Northanger Abbey, maybe I'll pick up one of the other ones. But I'm really excited to read the other ones that I chapter tasted as well. Thanks for watching and happy reading, everyone.